Good evening, it's meteorologist Michael Fecka. Welcome back to the 9 p.m. all-weather, all-streaming show that we do here every night during the workdays and on weekends. We stream it out to all of our streaming platforms as well as to Facebook Live. So if you are joining us from Facebook and you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to leave them down below. Hopefully I'll be able to address anything as I go through the forecast, but if not, I'll go through at the very end and see if I can address anything individually for you. So let's get started. What are we looking at here for our headlines? Well, today, very similar to what we experienced yesterday. We are still dealing with the lingering impacts of this cutoff low pressure system. So it's pretty much just sitting and spinning over the lower Ohio River Valley. And as it does that, we're seeing moisture wrapping around the outer edges of that low. And that's where we're getting periods of showers and then some dry time and then some more showers and then some more dry time. So it's on and off scattered showers here, likely through the rest of the night and even as we get into tomorrow. However, I will say as we get into tomorrow afternoon and into tomorrow evening, it looks like the showers start to decrease in coverage and intensity, and then it starts to wrap up as we get into tomorrow night. And then finally, we should dry things out and see that sunshine return, or at least for a good bit of sunshine to return on Tuesday before we have some more clouds and a few more showers work their way in Wednesday into Thursday. But also at the same time, beginning Tuesday, we will start to warm back up to right around normal and will likely stay there through the end of next week. So the cooler temperatures are definitely going to come to an end. However, we do still have some shower chances to contend with here even as we go through next week. So let's look at our current satellite and radar. That low, it was sitting over Louisville a little bit earlier. Now it's starting to work its way back westward. So this is what we call retrograding. When lows typically move through an area, they're caught up in that upper level flow, which we call the westerlies. So the winds higher up in the atmosphere flow from west to east. And that's kind of how these storm systems track across the country from west to east. However, in situations when you get cut off from that upper level flow, your low doesn't have anything to steer it. So it's just sitting and spinning in this area, and sometimes, especially when lows get very large, in which this case this low pressure system is, they can actually start to retrograde backwards a little bit. So now it's pushing in from east to west, which is usually not what we expect when we have storm systems move through. But we've got this little special scenario here with this cutoff low. So this center of circulation will pivot back over the tri-state through tomorrow and then eventually swirl its way back northward as we get into tomorrow night. So that's why we're still continuing to see shower chances even as we get into Monday. And just to show you how large it is, now it's not an intense low pressure system. It gradually weakens with every minute. It's just sitting there, but it is sending shower activity as far north as Vermont and New Hampshire, and as far south as, portions of Georgia there, just off the Georgia coast. There's thunderstorms associated with this low pressure system, even though the center is sitting pretty much right over the tri-state here. So it is a very large system in terms of its size, so that's why we're likely seeing it flip back to the west as it retrogrades. So here's a look at our future radar here. We'll continue to see some of those scattered showers, patchy areas of drizzle, and even some fog can't be ruled out overnight tonight. As that low pivots back over to the west, we'll continue to see some more showers rotate in around that circulation, continuing into Monday morning. Monday afternoon is when it starts to become a little bit more isolated. And then eventually, as we get into Monday evening, this low kicks off to the north and east, and with it goes the showers and the clouds, and then high pressure should start to build in as that low exits to our northeast. Now, in terms of rainfall amounts, we could pick up another 1/4 to 1/3 of an inch between now and the end of the day tomorrow, especially if you get caught underneath more of a heavier shower. Now, this was more an impact for yesterday, but I do want to show it again because it is a pretty cool explanation here. But we actually did have the setup, not for severe weather, but for some cold air funnels, which can look like tornadoes, but they are very different. They are rarely ever impactful. They very rarely even touch the ground, and even when they do, they only cause very minor damage. But this is what we call a cold air funnel, and it pretty much happens when we get these big upper level lows that are sitting and spinning over the area. And with that, you have cooler air aloft. So you have cooler, rotating air, very gradually rotating air aloft, with cooler air aloft as well. You get a little bit of an updraft from any shower or storm that develops underneath this area of low pressure, and sometimes that updraft is just enough to elongate a little bit of that upper level low rotation, and that's where you start to get these little tiny tail funnels dipping out from the clouds, and they don't even have to be associated with a thunderstorm. It could just be a regular old light rain shower that moves on in, and you could see a little cold air funnel. But yes, that was more of a setup for yesterday, but you could have still saw some earlier today. So, if you did, hopefully you took a picture of it. We'd love to see pictures that you guys take of any sort of weather event. But yes, that funnel cloud rarely extends to the ground or causes any damage. So it's more just scary to look at and interesting to take a picture of than it is harmful to us there. So that was more of yesterday. Today, it was just more showers and cooler temperatures. And you can definitely see that cooling trend on our almanac here going through the first week of May. We're now on the 4th day. We started off on the 1st with temperatures in the upper 70s, and then each day got a little bit cooler and a little bit cooler and then even cooler. And today we only topped out at around 54 degrees for our high in the Evansville area. Now in terms of precipitation, each day has gotten a little bit wetter, so we picked up a couple of tenths of an inch on the 2nd and in the 3rd, and now we're picking up just over a third of an inch from today's rainfall. So not a ton falling at once, but every single day will start to add up, and we're already above average in terms of our precipitation for the entire year. So more rain certainly not needed, but it's what we're stuck with here. And you can actually see where that upper level low was kind of taking shape just based off the temperatures. I mean, looking at it, you can see orange, yellow colors off towards the East Coast and the Mid-Atlantic coast, orange, yellow colors off to our west in the central and northern plain states, but right over the Ohio River Valley, and specifically here in the tri-state, you get this core of green and even some lighter blues that indicates where we had some cooler temperatures. So the clouds, cooler air from above, all making for a dreary and chilly day for our May. We are well below average. Our average high is actually in the mid-70s, so we only made it up into the mid-50s. So we're around 20 degrees below where we should be for this time of year. And temperatures, well, they haven't moved all that much. They've dropped several degrees, but still bottoming out tonight, only in the upper 40s for our low. So maybe dropping another degree or two through the overnight hours, but not seeing too much of a shift in our temperatures. Continuing to see scattered showers. Winds will become more calm as the center of low pressure shifts overhead. And then as that kicks off to the northeast, we'll start to see winds come out of the west-northwest for tomorrow, and that'll be out of the 3 to 5 miles per hour with some cloudy skies and, of course, a few more showers. Temperatures should top out in the upper 50s to right around 60 degrees. Now looking at your rain and storm chances for the next 7 days, again, we'll hold on to that for tomorrow. We dry out nicely by Tuesday, and then another disturbance passes to our south, and that brings us a chance for a few more showers as we get into Wednesday and Thursday. We could see some linger into Friday, but models are kind of hinting at more of a drier day for Friday and a drier weekend next weekend. But if you remember correctly, I said that about this weekend last weekend, so I wouldn't hold our breath with this weather pattern that we've had. These mysterious lows that like to slow down and stop can't be ruled out here, but it doesn't look like we'll be suffering the same dreary doom that we've been for the last couple of days. I think our best chance for showers is going to be on Wednesday, and then I think the clouds break up a little bit by Thursday. It'll be more in the way of pop-up showers, maybe a few thunderstorms, and then possibly the same thing there on Friday, but I do think we still see a decent amount of dry time through the second half of the work week, and I still think we see a decent amount of sunshine in between any showers as well. So it's not going to be the same exact setup, but shower chances are still likely, or at least slight, as we go through the second half of next week. So here's what that looks like on the European model. So as I mentioned before, we have this cutoff low sitting right over the Ohio River Valley right now. That is going to kick off to the northeast as we get into Tuesday. And then as we get into Tuesday, that low gets replaced by a high pressure system, so that's what's going to keep us dry. And you'll notice here we've got another low back off to our southwest. It's going to slide in and stay to our south but depending on how strong this high pressure system is to our north, that may actually help suppress some of that shower potential to our south. So maybe better chances over western Kentucky, less likely as you go farther to the north on Wednesday. But you can see it's very spotty. It's not like we're expecting a huge rainstorm with this system here. And then as we get into Thursday afternoon, we see another chance for a few more showers in there. And then that high pressure builds in through Friday. And then that low begins to slide off to our east and off to the east coast. And then that high kind of sits right overhead through the weekend here. So I do think, at least on the European model, it's trended a little bit drier. But again, we could still see some changes, and we will likely see some changes. So just take it with a grain of salt right now. Usually anything that's more than 5 to 7 days away, you should always take with a grain of salt, especially when it's a whole week. So, but beyond this week, looking towards the middle of the month of May 10th through the 14th, it looks like our temperatures will actually average out to near normal or even slightly above in some places. So here's a look at our temperature trend for the next 7 days. So our average high is around 74 degrees. We'll pop back up to near average starting Tuesday, and then we'll stay there as we go through Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of next week, maybe even popping up slightly above average in some points as we get towards next weekend. So there's a look at your 7-day forecast, just to kind of wrap everything up in a little bow here. I'll take this full screen so you guys can get a better view of it, but still holding on to showers and clouds for Monday, cooler, topping out around 60 degrees. Tuesday, we finally see that sunshine pop back out. We'll see temperatures warming up to around average into the lower 70s. And then as we get towards Wednesday and Thursday, a few more showers possible. Temperatures remain around average through the end of next week and into next weekend. So that is all I've got here for the forecast. Let me go ahead and check out your Facebook comments. I love to read your comments. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask. Looks like Emma says good evening to you. Laura, she's watching from Dawson Springs, welcome. Jeanette says good evening. Lindy is in the chat, he's dropping a thumbs up. When will it warm up? Lori asks. Well, we should start to see that warm up on Tuesday. So we're in the 50s now. We'll only top out in the upper 50s to right around 60 for tomorrow. But then once that sunshine comes out for Tuesday, we'll have better chances for more average temperatures back up into the lower 70s. Brianne Renee says that this has been a crazy year for weather already. Yes, it has. Feels like, honestly, since winter started, we've just been, one after another, just something else coming in that, typically doesn't. Jessica says she's kind of liking the rain. Jessica, yeah, it is kind of peaceful. I wish it wasn't on a weekend. I prefer this on a Monday or a Tuesday, so you can at least, enjoy your weekends. But I do understand where the relaxation comes in when it's just a plain old rainy day. You put the crock pot on, you cook up something good, smells good. And all that stuff. So definitely a good day or weather-wise for a lazier Sunday. So hopefully you were able to at least recharge and enjoy that, even if you weren't outside as much. But that's all the comments I see. I'm going to hop off the live stream. I'll send you guys over to 14 News at 10 for all your latest news and weather headlines. Until then, everybody stay safe and have a great night.